it's occurring. We actually on the phone, and we're joined by Brad Charboneau. He's the lead forecaster for the National Weather Service in St. Louis. Brad, good morning. I know it's been tough in St. Louis, especially south of you guys. Give us some perspective. We know this rain started before midnight, so it started Thursday night. What type of rain rates did you guys observe? What are some of the reports that you're hearing from a numbers perspective?
Yeah, so in terms of rain rates, we've seen rain rates in excess of 2 inches an hour with this activity overnight, and persisted for several hours. We have what we call training thunderstorms, where thunderstorms just with those really heavy rain rates move over the same areas over and over repeatedly for several hours. And so in terms of rain rates, those instantaneous rates of 2+ inches an hour were observed, and then we had that occur in the same places over and over again. So we actually had at least one verified report of over 12 inches of rain in Iron County, Missouri, and kind of a stripe of anywhere from 6 to 12 inches of rain, across mainly southeast and central Missouri. So quite a bit of rain. It's a considerable amount of water to fall in such a short period of time.
And also, if you could give a picture, so you consider how much rain was falling in that condensed period of time, under 12 hours. What is the terrain? What are the rivers that are then absorbing some of this rainfall that's falling down? Because we've seen some spikes in particular the Black River.
Yeah, the Black River is one of the rivers that it's kind of absorbed the brunt of a lot of this. It's not a very big river. It's in very steep terrain, and so it has kind of a reputation for rapid rises like this when you get a lot of water in its basin. It has a kind of a small catchment basin overall, so to have that much water fall over a large percentage of its basin in that short amount of time, and that caused it to spike up pretty quickly. I believe our latest forecast has that getting up to about 18 feet, which is about 8 feet, or about 10 feet above its flood stage there, and 3 feet above moderate flood stage. And we've had a lot of reports of flooding along that river and in that basin already. Another river that's going to be affected by this is the Merrimack River, which is a larger river than the Black River, so it'll take a little bit more time for that water to work its way down. But that's another larger river that will see at least some rises with that. And then numerous other smaller streams and creeks that no doubt will see some significant flooding throughout the area.
We know that your CWA in St. Louis, it's pretty large, and it encompasses a lot of different geography. Close to the Ozarks, you've got the Mississippi River Valley. Brad, you have the Metro East, you have northern Missouri. I'm wondering in southeast Missouri, because I know that you guys were aware of the report that came in Iron and northern Reynolds County, where campgrounds and campers were needing rescued. Are these campsites ones that are relatively close to rivers? Could you maybe explain the lay of the land for people who may not know what southeast Missouri is like? You alluded to it with the Merrimack and the Black Rivers.
Right. Well, I'm not exactly familiar with which specific campground we're referring to, but there are, along the river, the Black River in particular is very popular with recreational, like float trips and things like that. There are some campgrounds along the rivers. It's a popular area for summertime recreation along those rivers, and not just the Black River. There are several other rivers in southeast Missouri that are popular for that kind of thing, especially in the summertime. So there tends to be a lot of people kind of using those rivers and then are out there, whether they're camping or doing, float trips. They're obviously not out there floating in the middle of the night, but, there are a lot of people that are out there that use that area, just in the summer to recreate. So, it can be a dangerous situation when you have a lot of people, along the waterways when you have a situation like this.